All right, welcome back. We're tasting more chocolate from my trip to Amsterdam. Today I wanted to try Auro chocolate, a company from the Philippines. I will just say that I had the chance to taste their really good chocolate-covered peanuts. They described them as being like peanut M&Ms, which I had to admit they were, but like in the best way you can imagine. It was such an elevated experience. So I schlepped this thing all the way back from Europe very carefully. But I got a few bars from Auro, and today I thought we would try this 85%. So this is a pretty high percent cacao chocolate, meaning that 85% of this came from the cocoa bean. The other 15% would be sugar. It is a single estate from Mana. And I'm going to read to you a little bit on the back. You can see that it's got a tasting spider graph, which, you know, these look very fancy. Don't let them intimidate you. And as I've said many times before, I don't always agree with the tasting notes on a bar. And I would also like to say that, let me back up and say I don't always agree with the tasting notes on a bar, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, these are all small batch chocolate makers. Every batch they make is going to taste different. They might print a set of labels with a set of tasting notes that's true at the time that they make the chocolate, but then future batches may not taste quite that same way. So, so that's one reason. The other reason is everybody's taste experience is different. Your taste, memory, and experience is different than mine, is different than the chocolate makers. So what they taste and what it reminds them of may be very different than what you taste. And most importantly, don't be intimidated. If it just tastes like chocolate, that's okay. It takes a long time to get to the point where you can actually distinguish flavors. I think back to when I was younger, I would take the occasional wine tasting class. And I remember being very frustrated because everybody in the class would be like, oh, it tastes like raspberry. It tastes like road tar. And I'd be thinking, it tastes like wine. Like, I can't tell the difference. And it wasn't until I had started tasting chocolate very deliberately. I was sitting down. I was thinking about it. It was quiet. I was doing it the way you're supposed to do it and sort of training my brain. And we were at a friend's house and they poured me a glass of white wine. And I'm drinking this wine and I'm thinking, oh, it feels like I'm drinking perfume. And I suddenly realized that I was able to pick out the very floral characteristics of this wine because my brain had been attuned to tasting chocolate. So it takes some work. But if it just tastes like chocolate to you, that's fine. Hopefully, when you're trying a number of different bars of chocolate, they'll taste different from one another, right? So you'll still get a wonderful experience, and all that really matters is that you're enjoying it. So do not let these intimidate you. Okay, so you'll notice they have this flavor profile on the back. And again, I don't always agree with it. It looks like their spider graph is high on sweet, fresh fruit, brown fruit, and cocoa with some acidity. We'll see if we agree with that. And it says, our reserve collection is passionately crafted from the finest beans of a single harvest to bring out the rare, distinctive characteristics of each community and their land. Located in the lush tropical forests of Davao, Mana has notes of caramelized apple, rum, sweet banana, and cashew apple. So, and for a cashew apple is a type of apple, so in the Philippines. So, and this is the other thing. When I said that, what your tasting memory is different and experience is different than mine. Well, I didn't grow up eating cashew apples, so I don't know what they taste like. So again, it's very personal taste. All right, let's give this one. Oh, before we try it though, let's take a quick look at the ingredients. You can see those. It has 2 ingredients, cocoa mask and muscovado sugar. So it's chocolate or cocoa and sugar, that's it. No added cocoa butter, which is the fat in chocolate. As I said in a previous video, the muscovado sugar is probably going to have some of its own flavor, so we may get some of those flavor notes from the sugar in here as well. So we'll see. Let me open this. Okay, this is a very lovely inner wrapper here. You can see that. This one does not require scissors, I don't think. Oh, there we go. It's a little messy, but I'm opening it without scissors, so that's good. I know my customers used to always prefer wrappers that were resealable. The challenge with the wrappers that are resealable is they're often not very pretty. So I find a lot of chocolate makers don't want to use the resealable ones because they're functional, but they don't look beautiful. All right, here's the bar of chocolate. Okay, so again, it's pretty shiny. It's, been from the Philippines to Europe to Seattle, so it's a well-traveled bar. So it's got a few crumbs on it, but it's in pretty good shape, all things considered. It looks pretty shiny. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and break off a piece here. I'm going to feel it. This one actually feels a little brittle, but smooth, very smooth. Okay, and when I broke it, I don't know if you could hear that. Let me break it again. Nice snap sound, very, very strong snap sound on this one. All right, rub it between your fingers under your nose. This has an interesting aroma. I find that sometimes the aroma has absolutely no correlation with the taste. Sometimes I'll get a very strange aroma and the taste is amazing. Other times I'll get an amazing aroma and the taste isn't so great. I'm not really sure how I would, this is an interesting one, but I'm not sure how I would describe it. Okay, let's go ahead and taste it. Okay, so this is an 85% bar, as I said, so it's a very high cacao percent. Doesn't have a lot of sugar. It's a slow melt, meaning that, you know, it's not melting fast. It's got quite a bit of acidity, but not too strong. Like sometimes a chocolate maker leaves a lot of acidity in there and it's just like, whoa, it's like an acid bomb. So this is not like that. A little bit of astringency. You know, that mouth-drying feeling. Again, cacao is naturally astringent, and having a little bit of that can be very pleasing. Add some balance to the chocolate, but you don't want too much of it. This is where I have to refer to the tasting notes that they have. Again, I don't always agree with these, but as I said, I don't know what a cashew apple tastes like, but I'm kind of getting something that's apple-like, so maybe that's the cashew apple. They say caramelized apple, rum, and sweet banana. The rum I see, I could get some rum flavor. I don't really get banana. So I think for me, it's more of an apple and a rum kind of note. So a very nice chocolate from Auro Chocolate in the Philippines. All right, more chocolate to come. In the meantime, happy chocolate tasting.